I want to challenge myself. I've got this city project in my hardcore world that I started over 6 months ago, and I really want to finish it. So I'll be attempting to do that in just 1 week. It is currently Thursday at 8 AM, and I have an hour before I need to head to school, plus training, and won't be home until 7 PM tonight, which means I have to start this challenge off with a bang and prepare for a building session later. Quickly hopping down into the cave here, let's grab a shulker box of stone, and I quickly just want to prepare a few outlines for these buildings. Don't worry, my planning won't be as excessive as it was on the castle. There we go, now we have 9 more houses planned out, and I'll be rumbling through my storage room for the next little while here, trying to figure out all of the blocks for this. And the last thing that I should already have is a stack of brown wool. Perfect. Plunk that in our shulker box. I gathered up a little bit of moss that I needed. That should definitely be enough. And I only have 30 minutes left to go before I need to head off to school. So a quick trip to the skeleton farms for some bones. Now I just want to craft all of these into bone blocks. Now most of these blocks have to go into the building, and maybe this isn't enough actually, but I'll go back later. Okay, it's fine. I want to use this at least to run the tree farm for a little bit. It's been a while since I used these farms, and I absolutely love seeing these just whoop, whoop, whoop. But I now at least have the fungus to run the tree farm for a little bit. And while I run this tree farm, why don't you check if you are subscribed? It really helps a lot, and you can always unsubscribe later. Perfect. This should all be enough. Now just 3 things left to gather up, and that is cobble deep slate, dark oak, and oak. It is currently Thursday evening, and my schedule is jam-packed. I'm hanging out with my girlfriend tomorrow, leaving me no time, and on Saturday, I have my cousin's birthday party and workday at my rowing club to attend. Sunday is free, but I need to study for a physics test and an English exam on Monday and Tuesday respectively. But to complete this project, I need to do 3 things. First, finish building all of the houses, then move on to constructing a place of worship. Finally, ensure that the entire city feels like one cohesive project. I need to get to work now if I want to finish and decorate all the houses by Saturday. And thankfully, we've already been able to gather up most of the blocks we need. I extended the houses up using the blocks we gathered up and recycled building pallets from the rest of the city to ensure that this part blends in. Now that I've added in the buildings that I already know the pallets for, I want to introduce 2 new pallets to this house up here and this one down here. And I'm all out of spruce, so I gotta grab more. And away you go, trees. Did I mention that here on the Stam channel we love sub deep? Hopefully this will be enough spruce to last me for a little while at least. Now along with these spruce logs, let's grab this acacia wood I have, a few stacks of cobblestone, a few extra spruce details I had over. First off, we'll extend in a foundation here using some cobblestone. Now having one big giant stone foundation would be a little boring down here, so let's extend in a little bit of wood. And we'll do some pillars with oak, and then the walls with some spruce logs. And I definitely want to strip this spruce down. We'll extend this side out 1 block just to make it a little more interesting. Then continuing up with our oak logs, filling in the middle with our spruce. Then we'll give this a dark oak roof trim. Then we'll take our acacia that we grabbed up earlier and we use this as the actual roof block. Now for this next building, I think wart for the roof, bone blocks for the walls, stone bricks as a base, and continue with oak logs as pillars. As I've been building these houses, I've also been removing the terrain inside of them and adding in walls on all 4 sides. And well, this is to help me later when I'm actually doing the interiors, because interiors are already a pain with the how many blocks you need. At least I have the structure for the house done. Oh, I was so close. Luckily, I want to extend up a little bit of calcite to differentiate a little bit, and well, I'm all out of bone blocks, so... Like I mentioned earlier, I extended in the blue tones for the roof and added a trim of some spruce. Quickly before I sleep here, we're on day 1400, and another 100 days begins. But I'm finally back home, and it's 11 PM. And I've got to get to work if I want to finish this part tonight. And well, if you haven't figured it out, we need to decorate because, well, like look, this wall is even flatter than my ass. Now looking around the rest of the city, this is like most of the blocks I use for decorating, so I think this should work. I don't however have quite all of the blocks up there, so heading down into the cave here and over in my glass chest, I'm gonna need some white stained glass paint, some normal glass, need a little bit of green, and well, I just have to buy a little more glass. And well, now it's just time to go ham with the detailing. I messed up while recording. The music I had playing in the background while decorating was picked up. But let's move past that and continue working. Now this is already looking a lot better, except, well, maybe some houses are flying, and, well, the walls aren't that flat. But I think I'm out of flower pots. Yep, so I just quickly have to craft, I have to buy a little more brick and craft more flower pots. Grabbing a bit of dirt and our scaffolding. Let's just run around and, well, add grass. And we'll add grass to windows that don't have any there. And a few trapdoors around that, well, to cover up the grass. And add flower pots to all the windows with stairs. And then, of course, I gotta be grabbing my flower books here and, well, just start coloring. Now, this part of the town is finally starting to come together, but there's still a few things that I want to fix. And the first of that is just a little bit of pathing and some terrain work. And I need a door, which I already have on me, and 2 spruce fences because I forgot to add in a door here. And a little window. And now to get to these houses over here, I want to add in a small little bridge here. And it doesn't have to be really anything fancy, we'll just kind of do this. Now, I want to take a few leaves here and some bone meal and start adding in a little bit of vegetation because it's still looking a little bit empty. Maybe up here we can add in a small little field just for a little bit of extra detail. We'll add in a few fences around that and a lantern. And then we'll also take a few flowers, just adding them in to add a little bit of color in here. And why not do a carrot field? And this area up here is looking very flat, so let's add in a little bit of a clothing hanger, clothing line. And, well, since I actually have a wool farm now, I can actually get a lot of banners. And we'll add in those for a splash of color. And this area now is looking good. Using the same technique, I continue to add in details and vegetation all around. And, well, I think I've got to say that the outsides of these houses are now completed. Interiors I will get to at a later stage because, well, I do them on my stream. And I've actually been doing a few. And here's the first one that I ever did. And this is the baker named Killian Eberhard Zeppelin. Here we have a small little bookstore. We've got Moonshine's library right above the bookstore. And this house right here is owned by Burning, one of my mods. And it has a very cozy interior with a little flower store down here, a nice living area, a kitchen, and, well, Burning's painting studio. And, well, we can't forget about the goats in the... no, goats. What I was gonna say is that we can't forget about the altar in their basement. And the 2 goats, the Jeff and Jeef. Yeah, stream gets up to weird stuff. I've done a few more interiors which we can look at a little bit later. And if you want a house in the city, then comment what you want that character to be named and what you want them to be working as. And it doesn't have to be a villager profession as this house where we have Stella the stonemason. Alright, next up, I gotta get her up a few more blocks to build the building for the cult that is currently growing in my Discord called Burning's Cult. One of my mods made a cult and, well, I'm embracing that fully now and making a building for them. Now, the main building block is going to be a lot of andesite. Gonna need a little more polished andesite. And yet again, I want to grab more mossy cobblestone to use the same trick I did in the last episode in the castle. And I've got to do a little bit of deep sea diving here. Oh, let me in. I don't want to be short. Thank you. I just need a few prismarine blocks. I'll build a farm at some point, maybe. Oh, and we're gone. And I need a little bit of blackstone and a lot of soul soil for a giant pit of fire, perhaps. And since I turned all my mud into packed mud last video, I need to get up a little more. And while I'm out and about, I think there's a big coral reef right over this way. Oh, yes, there it is. It was so much further than I thought. But I'm gonna need a few of these. And then hopefully up here from one of these. I don't think I will though. Yes, give me the black lace terracotta. 12. And now we can start building. And just like any stand build, that starts with, well, mining. And obviously cutting away this weird tree here. And then I want to start us off in the middle here and start extending in an oval. And then we'll fill that in with some stone bricks. Which we then take away the middle part here, revealing my very temporary cactus and sugarcane farm. We then grab our mud, start extending this down 2 blocks from the stone bricks, and cactus farm here getting very much in the way. You'll have a real home soon. Then back in, and now with our soul soil, just filling in the bottom. And because of soul speed, this is so fast. And then we decorate this side as this is going to be the main piece of this building. And then we'll add in our splash of color here with the prismarine slabs on top of these chiseled blocks. And next up, why don't we start clearing away the floor? And with that cleared out, bringing back some occasion now for the floor. And I don't know why, but I've been really loving this texture lately. Next up, let's start marking out where we want the walls. And you might notice that we have a lot of dead space here, but not to worry, we'll fill in this here with some polished andesite. Then bringing out the mossy cobblestone here, we want to fill this in, and well, we're later going to waterlog this. Now let's mark out where we want some pillars going up. And start stacking these pillars up, and then across to the next one. And well, we'll obviously continue this all the way around. And now let's start filling in a little bit of a gradient. Perfect. And listen, this is just starting to look awesome. And now I want to take away like this part of the wall to add in a little bit of like a painting. And so we'll add in some andesite stairs. Then grabbing our black glazed terracotta, and just like that, a little splash of red. Next up, I added in the roof with a few deep slate supports and the blue tone roof. Now the inside is starting to look majestic with the roof in, and well, I can't wait to light this pit. I had to add in a few lanterns for light because I completely forgot about light. But while the inside is looking epic, the outside is not. It looks even worse than I do. And to fix this front, let's extend up a few pillars first. Add in a roof shape using some deep slate. All the way back into the wall. We can then extend in a few warped slabs on the inside here. And on top of that, add in our roof blocks. A few buttons down here to add a little bit of detail at least. We'll add this on the inside as well because it looks kind of cool. Anyhow, let's add in our coral here to give it even more color. Then jumping down into the middle, let's add in our campfires first. And then we'll start lighting all of this on fire. Oh, it broke already. But it does look awesome. And finally, I did figure out what we should do for the lights here. And we'll just add in a few soul lanterns. And this room is looking pretty good. I had to study last night, so it's now Tuesday. And well, I still haven't started decorating the outside. So first step of this is going to be connecting it up to the main road. And then I want to bring out a little bit of grass here to put vegetation on top of. Simply adding in the grass here in the front made this build look better. It still feels very empty, but there's not much I can do to that because, well, it would ruin the aesthetic of the inside. So instead of focusing on that, we need to make the build look more like it's in its surroundings. Now, simply adding this takes your eyes a little bit away from the structure itself and really helps it. I just quickly have to gather up a few more leaves because only adding bushes is a little boring. So let's grab some birch, craft a few of those into sticks and then into some birch fences. Already have some spruce fences laying around. And well, you know what it's time for. I'm on a mission to improve as a builder. And one thing I really want to improve is how to build custom trees. And I'm aware that I missed to do it in the last episode, but I was so busy and I completely forgot. So, well, we're getting at least 2 trees in this episode. And now those trees might just be blocking the walls, but I'm starting to like it. Now, next up, we're gonna need a splash of color here, so some flowers. And yep, some flowers did this good. Now, quite important is that it also looks good from the opposite side, and I kind of think it does. I think I need to do a little bit of terraforming, perhaps. And oh, yeah, I definitely do. And yeah, I'd say that makes it look a little better from this angle here. And well, maybe I'll just stick a tree here. And definitely when you start coming below it, it starts looking pretty good. And well, I think this is a perfect time to view this house, which is Bilbo's house. And he's a carpenter, and upstairs he has a simple little kitchen. And he can sit and eat his food every single day in the couch. And while reviewing one tier, we can't forget about this one, which is Stella the Toy Maker. Not to be confused with Stella the Mason. There's a lot of Stellas. And they have their little work area here in the basement. And upstairs, they have a really cozy room with a bunk bed and their cat named Dog. Now give me one more painting here. And if we run back over here, I think it might be fun if we take this painting down, remove the wall, add in the signs, and then we connect this to the other Stella's house. Because let's be honest, this wall is kind of flat. And filling in the walls here, it lines up pretty well. And now they can visit each other whenever they want. It's now morning of day 7. Wednesday, and I still have several things left to complete for this project. It's mainly fixing the terrain as all of the buildings are completed, but I need to definitely add in vegetation over in this area here because it looks super barren, and I also need to fix up this cliffside that I built like day 1. And zooming in into the withers farm, I need to get a few more bones going. Let's kill 2 withers. I want to try something. Gotta grab up the soul sand. Hello, end frog. And there we go, 2 stars. And now let's see if we can maybe like place these out here in the front, like there. Yeah. And now we can finally start bone mealing. And now I need to take a trip back through the city to just add in leaves everywhere as well. Yep, now we need to get a few colors in over here. Let's add in a little bit of a fenced off area here. And for this next part, let's grab up a little bit of andesite, craft that into some walls and some oak leaves. And let's quickly mark out where we want a few trees going in now. I got another one next to this, one over here, one back up behind this house, and then finally, let's do one over here. Quick top up on some leaves. And back to building trees. And let's grab our fences, and we'll plunk down some smaller trees as well. Perfect. A few trees definitely added to this whole project. Now, the city really only has one big eyesore now. And well, it's this cliff that I made ages ago. I made this when I was terraforming this whole project, which is super long ago. And well, let's just say I've decided to change it because I don't like it. I shouldn't need much to fix it. I just need a little bit of dirt, and this probably will be enough. I also need to grab a little bit of cobblestone and tuff. Now, the first improvement I want to make is replace all of the stone with grass because, well, the biggest issue with this is that it's all stone. I actually don't mind the shape, so I think we're just going to be replacing a few blocks. I then went under the overhang to add some dripping dirt to make it look a little more alive. Simply adding in this little overhang here using dirt added a lot to this cliff, and I already think it looks 10 times better. And so next up, I want to start just dotting in a little bit of tuff here at the bottom of the cliff. Just add in a little bit of a different color and tone. Now we have a little bit of color here at the bottom, but let's add some cobblestone at the top to lighten it a bit. And yep, that was so worth upgrading. Ooh, wait. And grabbing a little bit of glow lichen now, we'll just place that around here in the darker crevices. Just add a little bit of light here. And while we're at it, I want to replace the bottom of the lake with dirt. And now to finish off the bottom, we gotta add in a little bit of seagrass just for that little bit of green. And it's just such a simple thing, and it really adds quite a bit. Oh yeah, that's looking a lot better. Now let's quickly have a look at the architect's interior for this whole city. And they have a little working area down here because, well, I completely forgot about the basement and just stuck some wood pile and a bench. On the second floor here, they have their kitchen. They have a very cute little table here. I really loved using these acacia as benches, and I also added some mini blocks here for a little working corner. On the third floor is where the magic happens, and this is where they get their real estate. Because would you look at this view? And this lectern right here is where they sit and plan the city. Its name is Mr. Geisterstundalten Borgerson. I have no idea how you pronounce but that. And who knows, maybe this will be the guy that designs the future even bigger city. Finally, the project is complete. It might have taken me 6 months, but since today is Wednesday, it means I successfully completed my challenge. Now that this project is finally completed, I can move on, and it also means that I have the room to make an even bigger and crazier project next.